welcome up everyone to this Spotlight series, one of our first few here for the Movement Guild. The intention behind this, as we've said, Doctor, is to just highlight you and some of the people in the community that we work with. Building community is something we've been focusing on a lot at our practice. So thank you so much for being here.
My pleasure. I love that the focus is on community. It's a big city, but ultimately it's a small town. So that's super
It's
cool.
really not a big city when it comes to sort of what we do in terms of PT and stuff like that. I find like there's really, well, there's a number of us. That's sort of the people that I feel comfortable referring to as sort of become very select, and you're definitely been on that list for a long time. So I wanted to, you have such an interesting background in terms of what your practice is. You're a primary care sports medicine doctor as well as an internal medicine, but you also have a super interesting practice around end of life care, from my understanding. So I'll let you sort of give up,
Yeah.
if you would, your background a little bit.
Yeah, I was so, maybe most importantly, born and raised in Chicago. And so you and I are kindred spirits as we hopefully approach a Cubs season that continues to extend, but we'll find out.
We'll find out.
So I'm born and raised, born at St. Joseph Hospital right on Lakeshore Drive. And, went to Northwestern for med school and residency. And then I've been in clinical practice in Chicago since 2003. So I've done hospital medicine, occupational medicine. I still maintain boards in internal medicine, primary care sports medicine, and then hospice and palliative medicine. And so I am in my endurance practice, which is the majority of what I wind up doing is taking care of runners and cyclists and such. But we do pretty much everything musculoskeletal and primary care for our athletes if they want it, if they don't have a PCP. And I'm there a couple of days a week, and then the rest of the time, my work is as chief medical officer of a large 31 state company based in Dallas that does home health, hospice, private duty, and palliative care. So I'm responsible for clinicians and non-clinicians all over the country. So it gives me a balance of micro and macro.
That's great. Do you like one versus the other in terms of practicing sort of on the one-to-one or versus sort of helping others to practice or running the piece of it?
I love it all. I feel
Yeah.
very, very blessed to have an opportunity to do all of it. And it is, I have had the just amazing opportunity in a few families to take care of the 20-something preparing for a marathon, their parent dealing with arthritis, and their grandparent with Alzheimer's who then wound up on our hospice service. So it's not a long list, but we've actually wound up having a few folks where I have had the opportunity to take care of multiple generations, either personally or through my
It's
team,
incredible.
which I would never have been able to script that when I applied to medical school way back in the 90s.
That's pretty incredible. Yeah, I like one of the favorite ways I've been described is as the family physical therapist, as I've treated the mom and the dad and the kids. And it's really fun. That was actually a professional athlete. I was at the game and their parents introduced me as the family physical therapist, which was a lot of fun. So
That's awesome. Love it.
yeah, yeah. What is a process in Chicago like? If I wanted to come to you as an athlete, doctor, what's the process of working with you look like? Just to give people listening a description of
Yeah,
that.
we keep it pretty simple. So, in our practice, we are old school in some ways. My three staff members collectively have been with me for over 50 years. So, uh,
Amazing.
we don't have an automated phone line. We don't have automated scheduling. I actually use technology for lots of things, certainly in my chief medical officer work, but we have kept the practice really old school. So, if you email us, you get an email back. If you call us, we will answer the telephone and we try to get you in right away. And then it's really a matter of it. Our appointments are pretty quick where they're efficient. So, what's going on? What specifically is the issue? And then the whole goal, if you look at our website and the mission statement, it's to empower you. So my philosophy all the way back to 2003 has been we can't possibly work harder than the athlete or the patient at their health, but we're going to work really hard to help you find the right direction. So, we will let you know what is going on, where your musculoskeletal deficits are, what additional testing you might need, and then who's a good partner who can help you get there, whether that's a dietitian, a physical therapist, a personal trainer, a primary care physician, if that's in some cases that's beyond what we can do if something really complex is going on. But
Mhm.
really, our goal is how do we point you in the right direction so that you can then take it from there? And every now and then, someone has a weird thing like, popliteal artery entrapment, and I'll say, well, you actually need to go see Dr. Morgan up at the University of Wisconsin-Madison because that's the person who's best for this. So, we try
Hmm.
our very, very best to let you know, here's where you got to get, and we'll empower you. But then if you hit a wall, we're around to help you navigate through our crazy healthcare system.
That's great. That sort of leads into my next question for you. I think one of the things that I think you've done a really good job at, just sort of as an observer and somebody who's on that referral list, fortunately, thank you very much, by the way. Uh, what makes you different as a practitioner? I think that is one of the things in my observation is that you have a strong referral network of people that you trust and has, trust has been earned back and forth between you and that person typically. But what in maybe besides that, and what makes you different?
I think our interest in follow through, and I don't know that practitioners elsewhere necessarily aren't interested in follow through, but we are fortunate where we're a practice without walls. What I mean by that is I don't have an employer that says I got to stick inside this system. I can only refer
Hmm.
to this university or this referral network. Like we're free agents in that regard. So if I need to send one patient to Rush, but a different one, I think they're best served at University of Chicago, and then the third is best served at a community hospital or a dedicated hip or knee institute out in the suburbs. I am my hands are not tied. I'm not muzzled in
Yeah.
any way, right? So I can say, hey, you know what? This is the best person for you to go to. You need an EMG or nerve study. The best person for this is actually way out in the suburbs, and here's the doc that if it was me that I would go to. It's an hour away, but I would encourage you for the complexity that you have to go there. Here's the dietitian you should
Hmm.
meet. Here's the running coach that you should meet with based on what it is
Hmm.
that you're trying to do. So it's really the things that, I believe have made our city amazing, our relationships and the
Hmm.
human beings in it and the ones who just love Chicago, period. And so that's something I think that we have this ability to just scale across the Chicago metro area. And, again,
I love
having
that.
lived here for over 5 decades, that helps to be able to connect those dots.
Yeah, I like that answer. Do you feel like you're an ideal fit for any one type of patient, or what's an ideal type of patient that you prefer to work with? Is there one?
Yeah, our only rule is that you have to want to work as hard or harder than us at your health. That's really
I
it,
like that.
right? And
Yeah,
so if you want me to do this more than you, you're not going to get better, right? I can't possibly
yeah,
make you better when you don't want to get better. Now, if you want to come in and say, I really do want to get better, but I haven't the faintest idea how, okay, great. Motivation is all we need. If we have motivation, we'll
yeah.
point you in the right direction. And sometimes people will come to me and they'll say, I had one gal who came with a strange kind of abdominal muscle issue. And she had gone from doc to doc to doc for, I don't know, 7, 8 years. Her primary care physician sent her our way. We sent her for PT. And I mean, she was so down, right? She was depressed. So she's like, all right, I'm here because my doc said to come here, but I don't know. I've been around the block. And we said, okay, well, this is what you should focus on. Let's take some baby steps. And she got better in like a month. That almost never
It's
happens.
awesome.
But
Yeah,
in spite of being demoralized, she kept an open mind and we kept an open mind. And I told her, this might take a year to figure out, but we will do this dance alongside you or with you as long
that's
as you
great.
are willing to do it. And she
Yeah,
kept such an open mind that she nailed it way faster than I
it's
ever would.
amazing. That's amazing, and it's like empowering. It's like exciting for you and empowering for you to keep doing that and helping people when that when you have those type of results, which
Yeah.
are expected, but not as often as maybe we'd like them to happen. So
That's
that's great.
exactly right. And it's, one of my favorite recent stories. I had a guy came in, he had a knee issue, and he had seen a physical therapist. He had gone to a chiropractor. The chiropractor contacted me and said, "Hey, can you take a look at this guy because I'm not getting him better." And when that chiropractor contacts me, it's a big deal because he gets the vast, vast majority of people better. And so I took a look at this guy and I said, well, I actually think that it's your kneecap. It's not tracking right. And we're just going to do some old school taping. Adam will geek out a little bit. It's McConnell taping,
Yeah,
right?
I was going to say McConnell table. Yeah, I love
Right.
it. Yeah, old school
Which
table.
some of the newer PTs like kind of roll their eyes like, oh, this old dude's using McConnell tape. But in this particular
Love it.
case, it actually made sense. And I wanted to know, okay, was he getting better? And we sent an email and it sounded like he was. Well, a week later, I was encouraged, perhaps ill-advised, but I was encouraged by a buddy of mine to do my first century ride. So I ride on this thing and I get up to Pleasant Prairie, Wisconsin, which is about mile 48. And it's one of the breaks. And then I walk and I grab a bite, and then there's this guy. So who I'd
Oh,
just
wow.
seen
Love
12
it.
days earlier.
Love
And
it.
I'm like, all right, I guess the McConnell tape worked. So, that's one of my
It's
favorite
great.
stories where it is a PT in the community we've worked with, a chiropractor in the community we've worked with, some old school stuff, and then a ride involving the Evanston Bicycle Club, and then seeing this guy along the way. So we took a
It's
picture,
great.
sent that picture on a Sunday to the chiropractor, who was really thrilled to see his colleague and his
Amazing.
patient. So that's really when it kind of comes full circle. That's what I mean when I
It's
say
fun.
it's ultimately a small town, and we just all have to
Yeah,
help.
it is. Absolutely. Well, I appreciate you taking the time today. Before we wrap up, the last question is like, is there anything else that you want us to know or think that we should know about you or your service?
We just appreciate the partnership. One of the things that I think is important, you and I have served patients together, your staff as well, and you have sent folks my way where you say, hey, I think this person might need surgery, but I'd like your help connecting the dots. And one of the things that we try to do is, hey, I'm going to give you two surgeons, right? Take a look. And then if you want us to help navigate after you've met them both, we're happy to just listen and say, hey,
Yeah,
let's walk through the pros and cons of each and help you to make that decision. So we are more than happy to partner. Again, I can't underscore enough. Healthcare in 2025 in the United States is super complex. And if
it
we can
is.
be alongside and help people to make the right decision or feel better about the complicated decision they made, we are more than happy to help.
Yeah,
We love this town and we love the
that's
people
great.
in it.
That was a great answer. And I agree, like there's so many opinions out there and everyone has, I think one of the things I try to help people to do is like recognize the different opinions that they're getting and how, help them to make the choices about it. And so I appreciate your time today. Thank you very much.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Where can we find you? Like do you have social media or website or anything that you want to talk
Yeah.
about?
Website is simple, chicagosportsdoctors.com. And if you just go there, all the rest of the contact information, including email as well as phone, are on there. And you can
And we'll
also,
put this
if
there
you ever
too.
follow the Running Institute, that's where we will be found. So any of the Running Institute's social media, you'll be able to
Excellent.
find us as well.
Very good. Yeah, it's great. We'd even talk about the great group of doctors you work with at the Running Institute. So, sir, I appreciate your time. Thank you again, and
Yeah,
look forward to catching up with you again soon.
cool. Take care.